Soren Kierkegaard said, "There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true." George Orwell told us that in a time of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act, while Aldous Huxley reminded us that facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. Lastly, Joe Class said, "The truth will set you free. But first, it will piss you off." This is the news show, Whiskey Hell. Think critically. Act accordingly.
Saturday, March 23rd, 7:25 in the evening. This is Whiskey Hell Podcast. The narrative show that looks at what took place during the week, tries to set you up for the next one. Fitz, how's it going?
How's it going? I'll tell you how it's going. I saw the new Roadhouse. I watched the new Roadhouse. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, 6 out of 10.
Really?
5, whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's
above average.
Above average. It's not. Listen, nothing's ever going to be Swayze and Kelly. What's her name? Far fewer boobs in this one. In fact, I don't think there were any boobs. Which in the first one there was a gratuitous amount, which I dig. But the fight scenes were over the top and crazy and ridiculous, but also kind of awesome. So yeah, 6 out of 10. So that's how I'm doing. I'm doing a 6 out of 10. Yeah.
I have heard mixed reviews so far, so that actually makes me feel really good about this.
Yeah, I mean, if you go into it with like zero expectations, I'll tell you what, Gyllenhaal got fucking ripped for this thing.
Did he?
He looks better than McGregor. I mean,
no
I'll
kidding.
say it. Oh, he looks way better than McGregor. Anyway, I mean, if you just go into it with just no expectations and just be entertained for an hour and 40 minutes, I think you're going to slide right in there in that 6 out of 10.
So don't go in thinking it's the second rendition. It's not a sequel to Roadhouse. It is just a reimagining.
It is. And it's its own story. It's not, I mean, it loosely follows the old Roadhouse, which I kind of dig. Like, they didn't try and remake it. They just were like, hey, if it were to happen today, this might be what it looks like.
Okay. All right. And it wasn't woke bullshit.
No. It was not.
Refreshing.
It was a little bit over the top, testosterone masculinity, which I kind of dug, and so did my wife. Good. I think she was really admiring Gyllenhaal there a few times. Like, for her to say something is pretty rare, and she said it a couple times.
Well, I'm hoping Netflix takes that. It's a Netflix, right? Or is it Amazon?
No, it was Amazon.
It was Amazon. Okay. All right. Well, maybe Netflix can take a fucking memo from it.
Yeah, that would be nice. I would appreciate it. So, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited for my beers tonight. I'm even more excited for the show because we've had it. This is one of those shows where we're gonna have to do rapid fire by the end because this has been a crazy. Again, it's like, let's go ahead and wait until Thursday, Friday to do the really weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start doing the narrative business right at the end of the week.
It got off the chain there, and it's continuing. Like, as we are live on air here, we've got developing stories. So yeah, crazy week.
Absolutely. We have the most people we've ever had in chat tonight, so we need to do a roll call, and Let's big welcoming to Jay Stash of the Porn Stash podcast. Welcome, Jay. Welcome to the Insiders, sir. We appreciate you having you. Jay's, I have a running conversation with Jay every day about the goings on, and he catches some stuff that we don't catch on. I fucking love it. So I'm so happy he's here now.
Yes, same.
We've got Calliope in chat. She's working at 24 tonight, so we've got our medical advisor on board tonight. She took exception to the Advil treatment last week as well.
Yeah, which Calliope, thank you for your thoughtful response and for taking the time, because I mean, you're 100% correct, of course, and more people need to hear what you had to say. So, but it was we'll touch on that briefly here later. But yeah, thanks for chiming in.
We've got Elle here tonight, and she's ready to get after it. She had some requests for the playlist before show in the pre-show, and so the show is a little bit harder and a little bit faster than it usually is, and I enjoyed the shit out of it. So thank you, Elle.
Awesome.
Tabby, Mike, welcome. Aaron's here too. Aaron's actually threatening to do a meetup on his lawn.
Oh,
He wants
okay.
to do a podcast free for all. Like I am imagining this backyard rumble in the jungle next to his pool. So he's thinking about doing something like that, complete with porta johns in the backyard. So I'm really excited to see if that comes to fruition.
Dude, I love that idea. I also, if we can, Aaron, and I mean, I'll wait for the okay on this, but on the side, if we could do like a little, backyard fight club too, that would be awesome. Like podcast / fight club. And we won't talk about it, of course, but
yeah.
just
Nobody
let me
will
know.
talk about it.
Let me know. Yeah.
All right, let's get after it. What beers do you have?
Well, my first beer, mystery beer.
Yes.
It is from Threshold Brewing. I'm gonna tell you just from the initial pour.
Okay.
I'm guessing we have a cider of some sort here. It poured beautiful golden honey, golden yellow. Is golden's a color? Yeah. Yeah, and it smells quite fragrant of fruit. But I'm not sure what kind of a cider we have here. So let's see what we got.
I'm actually surprised. I didn't realize Threshold does ciders. So
Oh Jesus, what the fuck is this?
Okay, that can go a couple different ways.
Holy, yeah. This could go a lot of different ways.
Did she get you again? That's the question.
No. Well, maybe. This is an odd beer. It might be a beer.
Okay. All right, walk me through the mouthfeel, because what you described, because if you've got the mouthfeel for a cider, it kind of rolls, right? It's kind of, it's a little thick. It's not quite a mead, but it's got a little bit of thickness to it. That's kind of what it sounded like you described.
Yeah, it's not very viscous. It's very it's got some like light bubbly notes. There's a fruit in there, but man, I am stumped. I have no idea. I mean, I almost tasted some ginger.
Okay.
I could be tasting, like, this could be a sour.
Interesting.
This is an odd beer.
But it's not a farmhouse, though.
No, not a farmhouse.
So it's not dry like a farmhouse, then.
No, not dry. God,
Okay.
damn, what is that? Okay, I'm gonna do the reveal because I have no idea. She stumped me good. I well done.
And they don't have a lot of beers on their site, so this will be interesting. Threshold's out of Portland. You guys can go to threshold.beer.
Oh, okay. That's why. This is a fucking weird, crazy fucking, yeah. All right.
She got you. Okay.
Yeah. This one's called Pumpkin Patch Kids. It's a pumpkin pie sour. That's what I was getting, was the pumpkin pie weirdness with a sour. It just doesn't go.
Weird.
Yeah. It's weird. The can art's pretty cool. I'll give them that. But the beer, hey, listen, E for effort. Good job trying something new. Don't ever fucking do this again, Threshold. This is not. I mean, it's drinkable. I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna crush it. But
Okay.
it's I won't get it again.
Ouch. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I was more excited before the show. And then I did a little bit of research after I got going here. And I thought Rare Barrel was, this is the Rare Barrel's the beer that I have here. Mm-hmm. I thought Rare Barrel was still in business as their old Rare Barrel. Now, Rare Barrel started in 2013, and I think they kind of got done in by COVID. They are a big time sour brewery out of Berkeley, 400 barrel unit. I mean, they don't do a lot. So if you get one of their beers, it should be special. And that's what the MO was for it. Their website actually isn't up, and I tried to get to it, so it's a little deceiving. And the thing that I want to look at is what is the age on this beer, and it looks like it's from 2022. So I'm not going to say it's been cellared really. We'll have to see how this one goes.
Yeah.
The name is Home Sour Home. Home Sour Home is a blend of golden sour beers aged in oak barrels with peaches, cinnamon, and vanilla beans. Notes of baked peaches with hints of cinnamon, spice, smooth vanilla will leave you craving some homemade peach cobbler. So I'm still excited for it because I think it's still going to be a good beer. And even if from 2022, it had to have been one of the last beers that they actually did in Berkeley. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a run. It smells amazing.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I kind of want to trade beers with you. I mean, not that I want you to have to drink this, but that sounds good.
Smells good. That is wild. Very
Wild
tart.
Good? Okay.
Wild good. You know the sweetness that comes with some cinnamon?
Uh-huh.
It's that kind of cinnamon. There's no burn to it. It doesn't have any heat to it. It just has that sweet overtone with it mixed with the vanilla and the peaches. It is very, very good.
Nice.
If it had some graham cracker crust to it, that graham cracker taste.
Yeah.
This would be a peach cobbler, but this is a very, very, very good beer.
Nice. Nice. Well, I'm glad one of us got a delicious beer to start off with.
Well, we'll see how yours goes, though. I mean, it might. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, it's
warm
like I said, it's not terrible, but very odd, very odd. I just would have never put those two things together, a pumpkin pie and a sour, and so I just could not place it.
Well, it doesn't really make sense to do the two because you've got so many. So the spices don't make any sense with it, really.
Right. And I don't taste any of the spices. I'm only getting kind of like canned pumpkin, and then it's a sour.
Oh no.
Yeah. Odd beer. Wow.
All right. So as far as housekeeping goes this week, we did throw a poll out, and it was interesting. We had an interesting happening. I didn't even know that there was this World Happiness Report.
Yeah.
So we went ahead and put this out. We got 44 votes on it. And the question was, the World Happiness Report has come out. Yes, there actually is one. And the U.S. is not on it. So meaning we're not even in the top 20 as far as countries that are happy. So what?
And I believe I believe that's the first time that we've not been on the happiness thing since they started it.
I think so.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah.
So we ask you, what degree of happy are you? Comment anything you like pertaining to what's stopping you from being happy. So we had 4 different levels. We had happy, sort of happy, meh, whatever, and not happy. 27.3% were happy. 18.2% were sort of happy. 31.8% were meh, whatever, which I think I kind of fall into that category.
Yeah. Yep.
And 22.7% were not happy. So thank you to the 44 votes that we got there. Bonnick, Joe Bonnick on X replied with my life, sort of happy. With my country and the world in general, not happy at all. Totally get it.
See, that's I think that sums it up for a lot of people. Like my own life, I've designed things the way I want them. So yeah, I'm generally happy. But when I look at the state of the world, it's like, how can I be happy? It's crazy.
Right. Fire Hunter, I don't know, man. It just feels like there's not a very bright future ahead, especially for non-blacks. DEI seems determined to make it that way. Interesting shot. Always like it when Fire Hunter chimes in. You always
Agreed.
Get good comments. When there's a significance, this is from Gamer Experience Podcast. We haven't talked to him before, so I'm really happy they reached out to us. When there's a significant grievance culture, happiness is poisonous to it. Not really sure how to take that one.
Well,
I don't think grievance is a culture.
Well, it is. It's our culture. I mean, cancel culture and all that. That's a grievance culture. It's like, oh, you said something I don't like, so I'm going to file a grievance with the authorities, get you canceled. I mean, so in that way, like that is our right. That is our culture. And so, yeah, if you're happy and you're just going about doing your fucking thing,
somebody's
people
gonna shit
don't
on
like that.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, I get it. Very cool.
Which, awesome that we got that many responses, and people, also like saying, hey, I want to comment on this. Yeah, good stuff.
Tabby chimed in as well. It depends on the day it is, what's going on in life and in the everyday world. I completely get that too, because there's some days where you just want to everything to fuck right off. But this happiness report was interesting. I thought we didn't realize it's in their show notes. You guys can go ahead and take a run at it. You'll be able to download it and take a look. I love that they just posted it. I mean, there's your whole report. Just go ahead and have
the whole
fun
thing's
with it.
there. Yeah.
The list of countries. I want to get to that.
Look at all those happy people.
Oh, they're so happy. Here's some key insights. Ranking convergence continues between the two halves of Europe, with Chechnya, Lithuania, and Slovenia at positions 18, 19, and 21, contributing to the fall of the United States and Germany from 15 and 16 last year to 23 and 24. So other countries are becoming more happy than we are. Happiness also changes. Changes also varied by global region. Central and Eastern Europe had the largest increases of the same size of all age groups. Gains were half as large in the CIS countries. East Asia also had large increases as well. So that list: Finland's number 1, Denmark 2, Iceland, Sweden, and then Israel at number 5. That one surprised me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, never mind. I'm not going to finish that sentence. But yes, that surprises me as well. I like if starting shit in your region and like killing innocent people is your thing, like then yeah, I can see where they're pretty happy.
Well, it makes me think that there's a disconnect between what the government wants and what the people are.
Yeah. Well, of course, I would say that's a big reason that we aren't more happy here. Right? I mean, if the government would just leave me the fuck alone and leave my friends alone, I think I'd be a lot more happy. Just saying.
Hey, we've got Jefe's on the line.
Well, all right.
Hey.
Let that dude in. What's up, Jefe?
It's going pretty good. I just want you guys to know that I'm sacrificing for you tonight.
Oh. Really?
I forgot to bring a jacket, so I'm out here outside. It's 73. It could be in the high 60s by the time I come on again next break. So I'm braving the elements. It is sprinkling here right now.
Oh man, are you
extra,
okay?
Well, this is what I do for you guys. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, the show would fall apart without me. I know that. You know that.
Oh, we all know that. I mean,
everybody knows that. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
you are the wind beneath our wings. That's what you are.
You're the fucking anchor, man.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
Hey, we were just talking about super happy countries and how the U.S. isn't anywhere to be seen in the top 20. Did you get to see that report at all that we posted?
No, but I kind of believe it.
I think so too. I'm actually kind of surprised we're not lower.
Yeah.
Right.
What do they like poll people or?
Yeah.
How do they? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a legitimate poll that goes out. So.
Yeah,
wow.
There's a whole method to how they who they ask and the number of responses that they take, per country, and so yeah.
Interesting.
It is.
The most unhappy place is Ivory Coast and Gabon.
Well, yeah, because basically they're still in slavery down there. Those are in Africa.
If you're this poll how do you go there and go, hi, so like rate your happiness for me?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I'm not on my break. I have to get the lithium. Let me talk to you after I get done with my shift at the lithium mine.
That's what I was just gonna say too. Let me put down my pickaxe. Actually, those poor people don't even get pickaxes. They have to do it with their hands.
And they were in the middle. I'm sorry, Afghanistan, which we just left, is 143, and look, Lebanon is 142.
Dude, we are so good for the world.
We
look
are
at that.
so
it's proof
great.
right there. It's proof
It's
right there. We pull out. Look how happy they are.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Finish
You're
all
welcome.
over their.
That's right.
Yep. Enjoy the journey.
Team America. Fuck yeah. All right. Had to get that one in there. Jefe, what's the craziest thing that's happened tonight?
Oh. Nothing crazy. Nothing at all.
We are seeing requests for a farm report. Are we going to have a farm report tonight?
I'm going to go with probably not. I didn't do any homework.
Oh.
All right.
You're our farm guy.
I am. I mean, I guess I could read a page out of my journal.
Your sex journal?
My sex journal.
Your farm sex journal? Wait a second.
Your bestiality journal?
Is there any other kind? You know what? I saw a movie today in a movie theater.
What?
No, get out of here.
Yeah.
Wait. Why?
Like the nanny and my kids, they're going to a movie and they invited me.
All right.
Hold on. Can we back up? Just hold on. Can we linger on the word nanny?
Yeah.
There for a moment.
I paid this woman to watch my kids. I paid this woman to watch my kids. I was married to her for a while. So
that's so she's also their mother.
Right.
Okay. All right. Then never mind. We don't have to linger on that. Fast forward. We're sitting in the movie theater. What movie did you see?
I love that you changed her name to the nanny. That's fantastic. Good. Oh, shit. God damn it.
It's kind of funny because I changed it to nanny in my phone, but I without giving away too much information, I put it as lay nanny because that was still the first two letters of her name, so I'd be able to find it easier.
Yes.
But then one of my kids, they'd like to be on my phone, especially my little one, when I take her to school and stuff. And so I was like, I can't have her, I want to text mommy. And then, so I changed it back. I changed it back, but then my son was on my phone and he changed it to mommy. So now it's in there as mommy, which is irritating to me for some reason. But anyway, I'm going to. I'm just lazy. But no, they went and saw the Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, okay.
It was fucking really good. I mean,
yeah.
The last time I saw a movie in the theater was probably at least, gosh, honestly, I can't even remember the last time I did. But it was cool because they brought back a lot of the original Ghostbusters. Well, all of them except for Harold Ramis.
Right.
Passed away, but yeah, it was really cool. A lot of good throwbacks to the original Ghostbusters, and it was really entertaining, really funny.
Did you see the first new one?
What do you mean?
Because this is the second new one, right? Did you see the second new one?
What first new one are you talking about? Oh,
there was a first new one. Like this is the second one of the new ones, right? Am I wrong here?
No, you're right. Yeah, this is the second of the reboot. Not to be confused with the all-female ensemble.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's your first
Yeah.
time in the
It's-
movie
it's-
theater in like the decade.
yeah.
So
Yeah, but it had all the same people in it. And it was I agree. I thought it was really cute. Lots of nods to the original.
yeah,
And I was excited they were making a second one. So it's now you have something to look forward to. You can go back and watch the first one.
yeah. Bill Murray looks really old. It's sad, man. He's one of my favorite actors. He's
Same.
getting up.
Yeah.
You know, I thought of as I was watching it with all the nods to the originals is it's just going way back. So when Jefe was a little boy, I lived in Florida for a while, and with my grandparents and my dad, and we would go up to New York for like vacation. Like my grandparents were snowbirds, I guess, East Coast snowbirds, and I'd go up there and visit my cousins, and we watched Ghostbusters on VHS. And there's a scene
Nice.
where the Zool
Yeah.
possesses like a gargoyle or something, and there's a part where it's chasing through a building and it crashes through a wall into a hallway, and we tried for like 20 minutes to try to pause it just as that thing was busting through to see if what kind of like a special effects or what the hell it was, because it happens so fast in the movie you can't really tell.
Right.
Right.
I told my kids that, and they're like, "What's up with VHS?"
Oh no.
Yeah,
That's
I mean
so great.
this is gosh, it was before my dad and grandpa passed away in '86, so it's probably '85. It's a long ass time ago.
Long time
Tabby
ago,
says
but not that long ago if you think about it.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's not think about it too much. Makes me feel old. But yeah, it was cool. I went to the concession stand and got they had these special Ghostbuster packs, which is like popcorn, 2 candies, and 2 drinks. Got a couple of
$400.
Well, it was 40 each, and we got 2 of those, and then another extra drink. It came to $104 for.
What in the fucking what are we doing?
What a bargain.
Yeah. And
Jesus, see, I mean, right there, that's what's going to kill the movie theaters, and I know that like that's how they're trying to stay open.
oh sure,
That's why I won't go. Fuck that.
yeah, I remember back in the days. That's like immediately took me back to even back then. We were sneaking candy and stuff in because it was too expensive. Now it's like it's ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous.
Yeah. Yikes.
Oh, it's expensive
Yeah.
as fuck.
Yeah.
It brings new reason for having wearing cargo pants.
Yeah. Bringing
Well,
those back.
what it did for me, and I mean this is a true story. I was able to justify buying a much bigger, much more expensive television because I factored in, how many movies a year I would want to go see, and I'm just gonna make myself a home movie theater and watch them here, because then
Yeah.
I can have a beer, I can pause it to go take a piss, I can, all those amazing things you can do at home you can't do it in a theater. So I mean, this home theater I have set up is paying for itself.
Love it.
That's the only way to go at this point. I thoroughly believe that.
And that's sad to say because I miss the whole movie theater experience. I really do. But damn,
Like I guess
$104 at concessions. Come on.
Like I'm trying to figure out what movie that I would want to go see in the movie theater. Oppenheimer would have been close, but I wasn't interested in 3 hours. I didn't want to invest it on that subject.
Yeah.
I just didn't. And I heard it was fantastic.
Yeah,
but
same.
I just
Same.
wasn't I just wasn't like jonesing for it.
I heard you guys have a nice, big, thick dock tonight.
We've got a
Yeah,
massive
it's like
dock.
It's like a big black dock.
Woo! My favorite.
Hey,
Yeah.
do you want us to save the anus eating virus until you get back from your break?
Given my history, yeah, sure.
Okay. All right.
Why
We'll save it for you.
And I think we should also talk about the the new lift on the sex at the Olympics. That they lifted the ban.
Oh, finally, yes.
So yeah, so we should save that for next time. Again, given your history.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I think, Jefe, you need to go through next week and just say this is an LFA subject, and just pinpoint the ones. We've never had you do that before. I think that would be really fun for you to go through. I want to make sure we save this one for my when I come on. Okay. I know we have to get boring during the week for you seeing so much news just floating around the chat.
All right. I like it.
And also a farm report. I mean,
a farm report.
Yeah.
Tabby needs a farm report.
I might try to dig one up for you guys tonight. I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. Keep efforting.
All right. Well, you never know. I mean, you see who you're dealing to, and say, "Hey, have you ever been on a farm?"
Yeah. You guys know anything about farming?
Just see where it goes.
Could be a gold mine, depending on who I get.
You very well could. You very well could. I think that'd be fantastic if you did that.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. All right, boys.
All right. Well, happy hunting.
We'll see you on the flip side.
All right. Yeah, I'll be back in 40, and then after that, it's going to be a while. So we'll do another one in 40. See you then.
All right. We'll see you.
Sounds good.
All right. See
you, man. You know, I think we're paying that guy too much. If he's not going to come in with a farm report.
God damn, that was kind of.
You know, should we reduce his salary a bit, just to send a message, like a clear message, like, hey, pull your weight, or you don't get paid.
I mean, he did name his ex Lanani.
Lanani.
I mean, I got to give him props for that, but
yeah, no,
I agree. I want more farm reports. Or, I don't know, more disruptions, more cannonball stuff, because that's what he does. He comes in, he changes everything. But then we were also kind of happy because we're talking about happiness and how happy the rest of the world is. So,
it's true.
I don't know. Well, you know what? Let's give him the next break. Let's see what he does with the next break, see if he bounces back.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, Jefe, I know you listen to the show, during the week. You were our first and only DEI hire. So you better you better make this like, otherwise no more DEI hires ever again on Whiskey Hell.
What demo did he get?
He has a giant penis.
Perfect. I was going to say, is it like a Polish thing we just conquered there?
Oh, I mean, does
that count?
Polish. It does now. Thank you.
Fantastic. Wish I could have put something like that on my taxes, so we had a DEI-ness.
Oh shit! Oh, he's gonna love this part of the show. I can just picture him now driving in his car and having to pull over.
He absolutely is. And he's gonna stop. He's gonna send us a video.
Yep. That's how it goes.
Yep. I love Jefe.
Hey, I do have to give you an update on this beer.
Yeah.
It is progressively getting worse. It's just not.
Come on.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's just. I mean, it's giving me a nice buzz. Like that part's cool, but because I think it's like a 6.7 or something. But the flavor is just not great. Anyway, what do we got? Let's dive into this monster big black dock.
All right, let's go ahead and deal with the bizarre elephant in the room. So, Russia, a few days ago, and China, this was on Thursday, says no to the United States. No, we're not going to go ahead. We're not going to allow a ceasefire between Israel and Gaza. That very same night, Russia unloads on Ukraine. Just fucking unloads on them, right? They got drone attacks, the whole missiles, the whole nine. And then all of a sudden last night, all hell breaks loose right outside of the city hall in, I think it was Caucus. It's a fantastic name.
Yeah,
Crocus
concert hall.
Crocus Concert Hall, and it's actually part of the city hall for this particular city. It was lit on fire, and there were hundreds and hundreds of people that were there to see a show. Gunmen shot up the place, and it was a legit terrorist event, event in Russia.
Last I heard, there were 80 dead, and another 100 plus wounded. That was the last count I heard, and then plus, and you're showing video there on the screen, but the entire building, the roof collapsed because the entire roof was on fire, which is like I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many guys there were in this little fire team.
4.
That went in there. I thought there were 5, but then who set the roof on fire?
I don't know.
First, and then start shooting. I mean,
that I don't know. Nobody's explained exactly how it went.
That's impressive, actually.
It kind of, you remember the old COD maps, the airport. There's another one. There's a mall.
Right.
This is what it really reminded me of.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did look like that.
I think the footage is legit. The stuff that we're seeing.
Yes,
it looks legit, way more legit than October 7th did when Israel was.
I'm glad you brought that up, because there was, within 30 minutes of this happening, there was 100 times more footage than we have collectively seen from October 7th.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can't tell me that the Israeli people who were allegedly at this concert didn't have their cell phones running just like these people did. So what gives? Why aren't they showing us that footage? And you can't say because it's too graphic, because we're seeing all this. This is pretty graphic footage.
Absolutely.
Once again, like this, I guess they think we forgot about October 7th. Like, it's just no big deal. There's like 7 seconds of footage total from October 7th, and we have hours of footage from this already. Crazy. Anyway, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, you're fine. It is very, very bizarre. And now that we've got ISIS is taking responsibility for it.
ISIS is taking responsibility for it. Again, we know the ties back to Obama. ISIS was a CIA under the Obama regime, a CIA created terrorist group, created and funded. So, I mean, if ISIS really did do this, and I from everything I've seen, now again, this is all narrative stuff that we're talking about right now.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
The pictures we've seen of the gunmen, the videos we've seen of the gunmen, that could be any old Joe Schmo. We have no fucking idea. It could all be AI for all we know. Because that's how good AI is getting. That was the weird thing too, is their fucking ARs were spray painted, which was odd. Why would you do that? Anyway.
Well, it again, going back to the whole COD thing, it looks like they were printed straight out of a COD game.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff that a kid would go ahead and throw on there. Let's go ahead and make my my AK-47 look really fucking cool. Let's go ahead and make it all lime green.
Yeah.
It was very strange. It's very, very strange.
Yeah.
And these guys are not pros.
No, I mean, but again, if they're not pros, they did a lot of damage in a short amount of time. I mean, they lit this entire building on fire. They killed up to 80, maybe more. I don't know.
I think we're up to around. I think I've seen as high as 115, but the last number I saw was 115. So I don't know.
Okay.
But like you said, I mean, there was so much fire damage that it wouldn't be surprising if that was it.
I don't know. So anyway, the guys definitely could be Middle Eastern. They could also be, Eastern Bloc. They were yelling Allah Akbar, but a lot of those Eastern Bloc, Eastern European countries there's a lot of Muslims there. It's tons of them. So that doesn't say that, they're for sure from the Middle East. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to make of any of it. We're trying to sort it all out here because that was last night this happened. And again, the footage keeps rolling in. They apparently they found most of, if not all 5 of the suspects. And then there was reports of like there was a hole in the border. That's how they described it. A hole in the border for these guys to escape back into Ukraine. And then now they're trying to tell us today that one of the guys at least was not only a Ukrainian citizen, but was in the Ukrainian military. It's really hard to sift through all the shit that's going on here. Very hard.
So, I guess the thing that we don't want to spend too much time on this because we really don't know enough. We don't know enough to say who it is, what it is, or how it is. But it's like with any narrative that just pops up, you let it ride and you see what happens over the next week or so. I mean, remember when the Nord Stream pipeline was blown up? I mean, I think we kind of jumped to conclusions on that one too, and we were actually right in the end, but it changed drastically through the weeks and months. So obviously we don't want to really jump to any kind of conclusions. What I do think we can spend a little bit of time on is where does this make sense?
Yeah, that's where I'd like to get to, because Ukraine almost immediately came out and said, "Oh, this is definitely, a false flag done by Russia to its own people, so that they can instigate retaliation against Ukraine."
Right.
I don't find that believable. Putin just won an election with like 88, well, quote unquote, won an election with 88% of the population voting for him.
Right.
So I don't feel like he needs to justify any of his actions if he won another election, rightly or not. He's in power, and he doesn't need to justify further action in Ukraine because his people, quote unquote, approve of what he's doing. So that a false flag doesn't make much sense in this point. Again, same thing going back to Nord Stream. It made no sense when everyone was like, "Oh, Russia just bombed their own pipeline." What? No. Why would they spent all the millions of dollars to build it, and they were making money off of it, and then they bombed it themselves? Why would they do that? There was no motivation for it. It didn't make sense. So I don't buy that. I don't buy that line. I don't buy that story.
Yeah. So I don't think it was the FBS either. So
no.
You do have the angle that if it was ISIS, who controls ISIS?
CIA.
Right. It could totally be Ukraine. I have zero doubt that Zelensky is a lying sack of shit. That's still plausible. Yep. I've seen, though, you've got, I believe it's from Tajikistan or Kurdistan, one of the stands in Turkey, where where some of these guys were from. Also, it looks like they were recruited over Telegram.
Yeah, that was a weird angle too. And they were promised 500,000 rubles?
Yes.
Which, again, why are you being paid in Russian money? Because rubles are not really worth anything outside of Russia. And China, I think, is dealing in rubles right now. It's not like you could have taken those 500,000 rubles across the border to Ukraine and cashed them in for, US dollars. They would have been worthless because we put all the sanctions against Russia. So that was also an odd piece of information to come out. It felt very bait clicky. Here, look, they were getting paid 500,000 rubles. Why rubles?
Right.
That was odd. Yeah.
And that translates to $5,700 in US dollars too. So it's really?
Yeah. Exactly.
What the fuck are you buying with that? And then this individual's name was the Preacher. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me either, because there's nobody's really in Muslim culture that I can think of as far as religion goes would be called a preacher. That's not the right religious lingo for that.
An imam, yes,
right,
not a preacher. They don't preach. That's not. Yeah, that was also weird. I'm glad you brought that up. That's strange.
So it's very, very strange. One of the things that I think the overall narrative that we've been seeing is that the globalists are kind of getting their asses handed to them. It's a lot of the gig is up on a lot of the DEI stuff. The gig is up on the border control. You've got Europe is falling apart where it comes to immigration.
Nobody's paying attention to legacy media.
Nobody's paying attention to legacy media at all. So your messages are not getting through anymore. They need a war. They need a war badly.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And on Putin's side of things, and listen, as we are on air right now, there are rumors, and I mean, I think a couple of the websites I've seen actually have some receipts on this, so I think it's legit. But there are 14 Tu-95 strategic bombers in the air right now, headed towards Ukraine. So, listen, Putin's held back. He's shown restraint up to this point. And even if he knows, even if, like, we've all been in those situations, like the dude is poking you in the chest. He's trying to start a fight. But at what point do you fight, right? I mean, at what point do you just say, all right, fuck this guy. I'm done. I feel like the globalists, as you say, I mean, I think that's a great way to put it. I think they're going to get their war because Putin's finally going to, fine. You want to make me the bad guy? Fine. But you're not going to be able to do this to my citizens. I mean, this was in Moscow or just outside of Moscow.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's pretty fucking close to home.
Right. That's a kick to the groin right there. You can't let that slide.
And it was a terrorist event. That's a straight up terrorist event. I don't know if there isn't another one you can call. If you're going to call October 7th a terrorist event, there's no reason you can't call this one a terrorist event.
Right. I mean,
and it could have been much, 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 much worse. And we also, this other thing we didn't bring up to either was that the State Department.
Oh yeah. Right. 2 weeks ago.
Even said that don't go to any musical venues.
I mean, which again lends itself more to the, hey, we still have ties to ISIS and are controlling them, and they're going to do something over here. I mean, because otherwise, how would you know? I mean, I guess we have ties in Ukraine too. So if it was a bunch of Ukrainian idiots, I guess we would have known that they were getting ready to carry out a terrorist attack as well.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was thinking too, like, you take a city outside of, District of Columbia, outside of Washington D.C., like Bethesda, Maryland. Some gunmen walk in and kill 80 people in a music hall. We wouldn't even bat an eyelash to retaliate. We would have bombers in the air too.
Oh, absolutely.
So absolutely. Again, they're going to try and make, Putin out to be a bad guy here. Bullshit. You can only poke the bear so long. He's going to wake up and he's going to take a swipe at your face.
Victoria Nuland just retired, or said she was going to retire. And
yeah,
she hasn't left yet.
That's another new angle too.
I mean, hey, here's a nice retirement gift before you go, work for whoever you're going to work for.
Because she was kind of the architect of all this, of the Ukrainian war.
Yeah, she's been all up and over it.
Yeah. So, yeah, retirement gift.
And for everybody out there who's just tuning in, we're not on anyone's side, but we're also willing. We would love for it to not be America. We don't want to be involved in this shit. We don't like saying, well, it's us, but we're willing to call ourselves out if we're the ones who are actually contributing this bullshit. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No. I was just going to say, sorry you don't get the, the gold Rolex, but we'll give you a world war. How about that?
Does that make you feel better? Good.
Yeah. No, I mean, exactly how you just said it. That's perfect. I don't want to believe that any of this is true. I don't want to believe that we're on the brink of World War III at all, let alone that there might be, actors in our own government trying to start it. I don't want any of that to be true, but we have to look at all the angles here on this show. That's our commitment to not only our listeners, but to ourselves. I mean, we can't leave any rock unturned here. And goddamn, a lot of fingers are pointing back this way, which is scary.
It is. And I think, our State Department comes out and says that, we condemn this attack on Russia, and our hearts and values and minds and all yada, 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 hearts and prayers and whatever are with Russia. Yeah. That's great. Why is it only our State Department that's saying it? Why is it only Blinken? Why isn't the president? Why isn't Biden out there saying that?
I don't know, because damn well President Reagan would have come out and been, he would have had a special, news bulletin, and he would have spoken directly to the American people. It would have already happened. And we don't hear anything from Biden, and we only hear Blinken, that fucking bag of gas. Who let that guy on camera? Anyway, it all just feels so goddamn scripted. I guess that sums it all up.
It does.
It just feels like, hey, okay, here's the next scene in the movie. Jefe was talking about going to the movies. You kind of know when a scene is over, and you're on to the next scene. I feel like the next scene just started.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Yep, very much so. So we're at a point where it's a little early to go for another beer, but I know you had a beer that was not the most fantastic beer. So we could stop here real quick, run and grab a new one if you're willing, if that's what you want to do. Or we can go to another story. Either way. Let's
do one more story. That way I can, because I did finish this beer. I mean, it wasn't so bad I couldn't finish it.
Okay.
Of course, that's not saying much because my bar is pretty low as far as finishing alcohol. But I need this to settle a bit before I get my next beer.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah, let's do one more. Let's do one more story, and then we'll go grab our second beers.
All right. Well, I think it's really important we talk about, this is a great way for us to really recover how fucking awesome the United States government is. Let's talk about how awesome the deep state is. Can we do that?
Let's do that.
I will totally obliterate the deep state. I will fire.
Donald Trump is obsessed with the deep state.
The deep state is destroying our nation. Either the deep state destroys America or we destroy the deep state.
And many Republicans are widening his paranoia.
These unelected bureaucrats ruining this country.
From a cabal of security agents to
the sick political class that hates our country.
If elected, Trump's vowed to gut the federal government.
Reinstate the Schedule F executive order and, quote, fire rogue bureaucrats.
But who are these bureaucrats and what makes them so dangerous? We needed answers, so we took a trip across America.
In 100 yards, take the exit.
In search of the people behind this threatening entity. First stop, Huntsville, Alabama. Sure looks like some nefarious government activity happens around here.
You have reached your destination.
Meet Scott Bellamy.
I am a mission manager in the Planetary Missions Program Office.
He drives a Nissan Titan 4x4. He's loved Star Trek since he was a kid.
Of course I have a favorite character. It's either Captain Kirk or Mr. Spock.
And he may have quite literally saved the planet from annihilation.
Potentially.
You see, Scott managed a mission called
the Double Asteroid Redirection Test.
And back in 2022, his team used your tax dollars to pull off something kind of incredible.
You have an asteroid and you have a spacecraft, and you fly the spacecraft into the asteroid and try to change the trajectory of that asteroid. It's like playing pool in space. Everybody was holding their breath. This is the moment of truth. Did we hit it?
We got it?
And we have impact.
They knocked an asteroid off its course, proving something that had previously only been done in movies.
Saving the world from an Armageddon scenario, potentially.
Next, we traveled deep into the swamp itself, Washington, D.C.
You have arrived.
This is Radhika Fox.
I am the Assistant Administrator for Water at the Environmental Protection Agency.
She loves Pilates, making salads, and watching the Taylor Swift Eras Tour on TV with her family.
I think we're all pretty 1989.
Oh, and she led an operation to make our drinking water lead-free in 10 years.
That's the dream.
Worried and angry about lead contamination, residents of Newark, New Jersey are demanding bottled water and answers.
Lead is a neurotoxin that can cause irreversible brain damage. Folks are drinking out of these pipes right now.
Every single American child will soon be able to turn on that faucet and their moms and dads know that the water they're drinking is clean.
When President Biden announced a nationwide plan to remove lead water pipes, Radhika's team made it happen.
Yep, that's right.
Water utilities would be legally required to replace all remaining lead pipes.
$9 million in 10 years or less.
It's an expensive bet.
$50 billion. But those benefits are truly priceless because it's the well-being of this nation that's at stake.
You want to replace your own water pipes? You got the skills to launch an asteroid-deflecting spacecraft? No. That's why your tax dollars pay experts like Radhika and Scott. Important work like this is happening all over America. From helping 2 million victims of the opioid crisis, to engineering major breakthroughs in nuclear fusion, and helping make hearing aids affordable for 30 million people. Yep, the deep state is hard.
Now that last one was the FDA. So, as you can see, this is a New York Times op-ed, and they decided to go ahead and get all NPR with it, and had this lovely video that you can log into New York Times and watch. It'll be in show notes. And I knew the New York Times was absolutely full of shit, but this is absolutely the most skewed, ridiculous bullshit I have probably ever seen from them. And not one of these individuals. When I think of deep state, when you think of deep state, do you think of the EPA or NASA?
No, I think of government spooks. CIA, FBI, NSA, NIS, the intelligence agencies. That's who I think of as the deep state.
The Pentagon, where our billions and our trillions go through audits and they just disappear. That's the fucking deep state. This was such a fucking joke. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, I have to watch this.
Yep.
Yeah. This was just, it's just, again, it's the New York Times. It's mainstream media, and it's licking the left's ass. It's not right.
It's so like low-hanging fruit. Like of all the things Trump has said, coming in and saying he's going to eliminate the deep state. So they take some sound bites, and then they tell us what we're supposed to think the deep state is. Not all those other things, all those other agencies, all the alphabet soup that we just named. No, it's all these other government agencies that may or may not actually be doing the American people some good. I don't know. Lead pipes, yeah, it's kind of a big deal. That's cool.
It's a huge. I'm really happy for New Jersey. What about fucking Detroit?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
What about East Palestine?
We got lots of people out there suffering, and the EPA isn't doing shit about it. So, to varying degrees, they're helping people, but not so much other people. Flint, Michigan they're still buying bottled water there. Still. I mean, and that was what, 2020? 2019?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's been that way for a long time.
They still can't drink the water out of their tap. So, fine. You want to say that's the deep state and they're out there trying their best. Fuck off. That's not what we're talking about.
You're still failing, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's not what Trump was talking about. So in the end, somehow, some way, the New York Times has actually succeeded in making themselves look more fucking dumb. Well done. Well done.
And there's no way I mean, okay, the whole drain the swamp thing and kill the deep state, stop the deep state, all that's nice rhetoric. That's great campaign talk. You didn't do it the first time though. So don't make me think for an instant that that's even a big deal at this point. The fact that they latched onto that, like you were saying, totally low hanging fruit. It just goes to show just how fucking out of touch they are. Because if they spent any time on X or on any reputable site, any indie site, you'd see what we're talking about. We're not talking about that shit. We're not worried about what the EPA is doing unless they're infringing on something that we're trying to do. It's all about the nefarious shit that we're doing all over the world and what we're doing here to undermine our own country. That's what we're talking about. ATF, DEA, no, our borders completely wide open. Why are they open? The deep state is the why behind all the weird bullshit that's going on. It has nothing to do with all the flashy, cool shit that you think, oh, you knocked a fucking comet or an asteroid offline? Congratulations. And you can't even prove that you actually did anything. Because if it was actually coming at us, you probably wouldn't be able to do anything. You just prove that you can launch a vehicle and hit an object in space. Maybe.
Well, and to your point, and something we mentioned earlier, part of the deep state is the legacy media too.
Yes.
You know, we've all seen those clips of all the local news stations saying the exact same thing, like verbatim, word for word. That's the deep state. That's what we're talking about. That hasn't changed. CNN, MSNBC, Fox, they're all out there trying to make their own spin off of the same fucking script. So that's still happening. That's what we're talking about, you morons. But, of course, they're part of it. So why would they tattle on themselves?
Just frustrating. And thank you, Aaron, for bringing up that the EPA is turning frogs gay. And Jay, thank you for calling attention to some frogs are just born that way. Thank you so much.
This is true. And we have a story about there's apparently a museum out there claiming that dinosaurs had an LGBTQ culture.
Oh, Jesus.
So we'll get to that, right? We'll get to that.
All right.
I'm
I'll holster it. I'm fired up. Let's.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready for that second beer.
All right. So your beer was absolute rubbish.
Yeah, I never will. 1 star. Do not recommend. Will not get again. How was yours?
Fair enough. I enjoyed it. Not the greatest sour that I've ever had, but it was good. Especially for a 2022, it barreled nicely. No issues. I do have another rare barrel coming up after this, so we're gonna go with some berries in that one though.
We like berries.
We do.
And I don't mean. I'm not talking about the guy.
Fantastic. All right. We'll be back with you guys in a minute or two. All right. So beer 2. I am going to run it back with Rare Barrel again, and I will post the... Let me pour this bad boy out. I have an opener someplace. Fitz, where did I put my opener? This isn't good.
I mean...
It's right next to me. God damn it.
I have a couple of answers, but I don't think you're going to like them.
Probably not. That's a very good point. You know, I will say that with Rare Barrel, the beer, as soon as you open it, oh my God. I'm like, the smell is just unfucking real. And I have a ton of head on this. Fuck.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, it really does.
I just want to give you kudos. You have said Rare Barrel about 30 times tonight, and you haven't fucked it up once. I have to slow it down when I say it in my head, like Rare Barrel. So you're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying. Yeah. So, and normally I'm all over the place with trying to speak. Usually I can't pronounce a goddamn thing. And Tabby even thinks I said fart when I was trying to talk. I was talking about something else earlier. So, I don't know. She's still saying that she's picking on me now. That's all right. That's right.
You know what? That's her language of love.
This is very true. That is very true. All right. So this one is Ensorcelled. Very weird name. Ensorcelled.
Ensorcelled. That's a great word. That's like
it really is.
You've been caught up in the magic, man. You've been ensorcelled.
I apparently I have been.
I believe that's what that's like from sorcery. I think that's where that word comes from. I'll look up the etymology while you talk about the beer.
All right. That sounds good. All right. So this one is ensorcelled. Is a dark sour beer aged in oak barrels with raspberries fermented with a mixture of microorganisms. The sour showcases notes of decadent chocolate mousse and rich raspberry jam. I apologize if this is giving you a chubby. It is a raspberry, so.
Yeah, and sorcel, to put under a spell. So,
son of a bitch.
Hopefully this beer puts you under a spell, man.
I hope so too. It is super dark, super dark.
I put a spell on you.
Oh, that's a great song. That's a great beer.
Oh, it's a great song.
Oh,
Good.
at Puckers at the end. It starts off nice and it just lulls you in. You get some chocolate, you get a little bit of sweetness, and then the fucking sour hits you. Oh, right. This is a sour that closes the back of your throat, Fitz.
Oh, okay.
Like this is a blowjob sour. Like if you want a really tight constricting throat, this is the sour that you have.
Wow. I think you just went sex beer.
I can I call it?
Yeah, I think you need to call it, man. That's usually me, but you went sex beer.
It is very, very rare. It is very, very rare that I get a sex beer there. So that's very, very fun. This is a very crazy beer, and the back of my throat it closes down like you would not.
You know, isn't it something
That's
that
nuts. Never had anything like that before.
We talk about all the flavor notes and even like the mouth feel and the textures you're getting from these beers, but then you'll have a beer every once in a blue moon. You'll have a beer that you have an actual physical response to.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's really bad. Sometimes it's just like, oh, that was weird. My throat just clenched. But I mean, beer is just, you know what? It is ensorceling.
It is ensorceling. It truly is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo. All right.
Spellbinding.
I got a little fever going here. A little sweat on. This is interesting. This is fun.
Little alk fever. I like it.
There you go. All right, what you drinking?
Well, I had, goddamn, dude. Part of the reason it took me so long to get back here, I have so many good choices out there. It was really hard for me to pick. I got a Schwartz beer out there that I really want to get to, but it didn't feel like a Schwartz beer night after that first beer I had. So I actually went with a Great Notion, which again we have a long storied history with them and all the amazing beers that they brew. This one is called Juice Senior. This is a triple hazy IPA. Wow. 10.6%, which is definitely respectable for a hazy. It poured, cloudy hay, straw colored. Nice, kind of impressive head on it, actually. I'm looking forward to letting that coat in my lips.
Did you call that? Was that a triple? You said?
Yeah, it's a triple hazy.
Oh,
which is not easy to do, from what I understand. I'm not a brewer myself, but that's hard to do.
No, you don't see a lot of those. But what I'm really curious about is this is a triple, and it's a totally different beer. And unless you've had a triple high ABV and an IPA, you may really get hit by this one. So I'm really curious to see what happens.
Wow. No, this is smooth.
Okay.
A little fruity pebbles up front. On the back end, you get just a little pine and a little grapefruit, but nothing overwhelming. really nice balanced beer. And God, you would not know that what's scary about it, you don't know it's a 10.6.
Nice.
Yeah, it's smooth. Hardly taste any alcohol in it at all. It's got a nice thick mouthfeel to it because it is a hazy, so you have that texture. But by the time it hits the back of your throat, you're ready for the next sip. So really, really easy drinker. Kind of frightening how easy this is. This is delicious.
Yeah, I was curious about the chemistry change. That's what I was wondering about. So I'm wondering how that goes for the rest of the night. You guys should go to greatnotion.com, where their whole mantra is keep beer fun, and it is fun. And their beer, I've never had a bad Great Notion. I mean, we at this point we probably need to come up with our list of our can't miss
breweries. Yeah.
I'm trying to find.
Because
maybe this is the only one that they make.
Because there's definitely brewers out there who are kind of on the envelope, and when you're you're riding that edge like that, you can sometimes come up with a flop. I mean, sometimes it's just not a great beer. I think Great Notion, one thing that they do really well is they are kind of pushing the boundaries a bit.
Yep.
But they do it in a safe way. So you just know, like, okay, they're doing an Imperial. It's gonna be a solid Imperial. Maybe they did some other weird shit with it, but it's gonna be a solid base of a beer. Or hey, they did a triple hazy. I know their IPAs are solid. So the fact that they stuck it back in 2 more times, which is what she said, I mean, you still know it's gonna be good. So they're definitely one of those breweries out there that just, I'm not saying they can't miss, because we all know everybody can miss.
Well, sure.
But they're just so solid. You just, I mean, you could really, put money down that you're going to get a good solid product.
Yeah. And I would put them up against like Drecker, especially for pushing the limits.
Yeah.
But they, like you said, the difference between the two is one is wild and the other one pushes, but it's safe.
Yeah.
And fun.
Yeah.
So,
or even like McKellar, those guys.
Yes.
Solid. They're amazing. They're fucking gypsies. They just travel around, but every once in a while you'll get one where you just go, oh God, this is terrible. What were they?
Yep.
Why did they do this?
Why did you do that?
Yeah. Right. So anyway,
all right.
Very good beer. Oh, we have a Jefe sighting. That is great timing.
We do have a Jefe sighting. Jefe, what's changed in the last hour? Yes, give us a hey.
Nothing. Sometimes the lineup is, I don't know, when dealers come in at 8:00, they have to change the lineup sometimes, and I got rerouted back to the same table, which is just a shit table. So that sucks. It's free bet blackjack. And I mean, it attracts all of the cheapest fucking players because it's free bet. And so it's just a 40 minutes of my life I'm not getting back. And then the next table is a dead spread. So nothing has changed in the last 40 minutes. How are you guys doing?
We're good. Fitz just broke some breaking news in our chat. Several F-16s with the Polish Air Force have been scrambled to monitor the ongoing Russian missile attack against Western Ukraine. Well, there you go. That's what we've been hammering on the Russian thing tonight. So,
yeah. World War III is more of a reality than ever right now. Crazy. And another thing that's changed, and I don't want to talk about it now because I know we have a couple things we want to talk about while Jefe's here. Yeah. But I did tell you guys a couple days ago that there was some sunspots turning in. They were very complex, and complexity brings with it flare potential. And then bam, we have had this mass number of flares, and none of them have been C-class. They are all M-class and above. And just another one just came across. They've been going off all day. So really active solar cycle right now, which is going to be fun to talk about later. But we have Jefe here. And do we talk about gay dinosaurs, or do we talk about Olympic sex? Because those are kind of the same thing, aren't they?
They're very similar. Very, very
Yeah.
similar.
Can I pick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it. Yeah.
I want to do the gay dinosaurs. Wait, let me rephrase that. I want to talk about the great gay dinosaurs. I don't want to do.
Okay.
I would. I would.
Yeah.
If
they were still around. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that we were able to put that into our DEI category for the night. That's really, I really appreciate that. So that was a great find, Fitz. Now we did spend some time with Zero Hedge. If you guys want a great resource, go follow Zero Hedge on X or go to zerohedge.com. You'll see a ton of different ones. Now, somebody may tell you that it's Russian disinformation. Well, it's also people that tell you that they don't want you to listen to this stuff. So
yeah.
A museum in Britain has claimed that some birds are queer and that the history of animal queerness has been hidden from the public. The Hastings Museum and Art Gallery is running an LGBTQ history exhibition funded by Arts Council England, which claims that some birds are queer because they change their sex from female to male. The Telegraph notes that the claims about birds such as pheasants are completely unfounded and have no scientific basis. The exhibition, in association with a group called from the Hastings Queer History Collective, further claims that arguments about queer behavior in the animal world being unnatural are undetermined by the behavior of game birds. So, the narrative is being pushed by Hastings Queer History Collective while there's no scientific evidence.
I mean, how absurd are we going to get here? Shit, I probably shouldn't ask that. And the fact that they are extrapolating from that there might be some birds in the wild that change sex sometimes, that they are somehow from that pulling that dinosaurs have an LGBTQ history. How do you make that leap? Like, how do you, like, that would be like me saying, okay, I had sex with a woman. So probably all women want to have sex with me. Like, that's a ridiculous statement. We all know that's not true. But that's kind of the leap they're making there. And it's, I don't, the chat is going off with names for different gay dinosaurs, and they're amazing. I wish you all could see all this. But anyway, I don't know how they make this leap. I'm a little flabbergasted, and it's ridiculous, right?
Oh, it's absolutely bizarre. Pheasants Are Queer Museum tells visitors, and this is Sex Matters Org on X, LGBT exhibition. Sex Matters board director Dr. Emma Hilton. The only vertebrates that change sex are all fish. Birds do not change sex. These kinds of claims are very wearying. So they've got a little bit of a pushback here. The Hastings Queer History Collective, which produced the Queer History Trail Map Guide, was founded in 2020 after the museum and gallery received £450,000 of Arts Council funding to support a program focusing on exclusivity and community. So this was something that this group was given. Here's the money for it. Go make something up. Go do this.
Yep.
Now, I love this paragraph. The guide further claims that some Greek gods were bisexual. King William II was definitely gay because he was a bit effeminate and had no wife or children, and that an 11th century archbishop had queer sensibilities and could be considered a defender of gay rights. By far, the most ridiculous entry on the guide is a description of a fossilized dinosaur footprint that states we cannot comment on the sexuality of the dinosaur who made this footprint, but we do know that the 11-year-old boy who found it is now grown up, happily married to his husband Greg in a pink house in Hastings.
Jesus Christ. Why does that fucking Jesus? And just
I don't know, but we just gave in the omnibus $650,000 for a DEI zoo.
Yeah, you're right. And I believe it was like 550 million for public schools for queer education, something like that.
Queer history, LGBTQ history.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I just quickly,
that was the You guys need a drink because of that, by the way. That was the from Jefe.
That's true. Quick, I guess, correction. But yes, there are some fish that change sexes. I believe there are also amphibians, and they're vertebrates too. Amphibians also, some frogs can change their sex in the wild. Because we all saw Jurassic Park, right? We all know that that's what happened in Jurassic Park, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, biologically changing your sex because there aren't any other females around or any other males around, I guess you could argue that that's becoming trans, but they both biologically change, and then they can reproduce. Humans can't really reproduce after they transition. I mean, you can, put your stuff in a test tube and make a baby and like insert it in your anus or wherever they grow babies. I don't know. But you can't, like, you're not producing naturally like some species can.
No,
like,
you got to add some hardware in order to do it.
Yeah. So it's not the same thing. They're stretching to try and make it the same thing. And quite frankly, it's hilarious. And I'm so glad that I found this story. I was a little concerned why this popped up on my feed because I saw it like 2 or 3 different times. I'm like, what have I been looking at that this pops up on my feed? But anyway, there it is in all its glory.
Well, it's Zero Hedge. That's why you got it. So yeah, so that was fantastic. Jefe, do you have any animals around your house that have suddenly gone gay or trans?
No, I don't have any animals around my house at all.
Okay, all right.
The kids have some, but they're all straight as far as I know. I could ask them next time I'm over there.
Just make sure they've got a safe space. That's all you've got to do.
There you go. That's right. We
you know what?
Their privacy.
You know what I'll do? Instead of asking the pets, I'll ask my kids.
Yes. That's
perfect. That's positive parenting right there. Hey, boy,
very much
are you gay?
No, not if he's gay. If the pets are gay.
If the pets are
gay.
Yeah.
I see.
Now if it turns into that conversation, just be ready for that.
How do you ask that? Like, hey, has the dog like ever licked your penis? Like, how do you?
Jesus Christ!
How do you ask that question?
Do you remember that comedian?
Yes, I do. Uncle, what was his name? Uncle Bob or Uncle something?
Uncle, what was it? You wake up in the morning, penis. Who's the victim here?
Yeah, yep. Just a little more advice from your Uncle Tony.
Uncle Larry, I think it was. Uncle Larry.
Oh, Larry. There you go. Yeah, that was him.
Good shit.
Jesus.
We don't condone cat penis licking.
No, we do not. No. This show does not condone any bestiality. We just joke about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Like everything else, we're going to make fun of it. And we're also going to make fun of the ass-eating virus that kills 30% of the people it's spreading to.
Why are they showing a picture of a kid's tongue? Why do they show that on this article? It's talking about an anus-eating virus, and they show a kid's tongue. What is going on here?
It's kind of a weird-looking tongue. It's a weird-looking tongue, too.
I couldn't figure that out about this article. Nothing about the article makes sense, but that was really weird.
A mystery flesh-eating disease that kills around 30% of people who become infected is spreading rapidly around Japan. I just love that it's in Japan.
It's one of those things where you can't confirm it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way to prove or disprove it.
Road trip to Japan. Check it out.
Well, and then propaganda. What? You ask people like, hey, has your asshole been eaten out by a virus? Like, what do you, I mean.
So you go to the doctor. Where's Calliope? Have you ever had Anybody
Yes.
come in with an anus or an ass eating virus? That's what we need to know. And I love Jay propaganda. This is all the anti-ass eating prudes trying to shut down the normal people.
You could be onto something, Jay. Could be onto something, because that's a strong lobby out there. The anti-ass eating.
And no, Aaron, you don't use wasabi as a lube. It's not.
Wow.
Ooh, ouch.
Oof.
That was a bad summer, right, Jefe?
Ooh, man.
First of all, does it seem odd to anyone else? Like, I mean, if there's a flesh-eating bacteria, that's scary. And you would just think it like non-discriminately just starts to eat flesh, like wherever it is on your body. Right. Why does this? And first of all, viruses don't actually eat, right? They just replicate. So I don't know why this virus is eating assholes. But let's just say it can. Why is it going for just the asshole?
Well, it starts there, and I'm guessing it continues on.
But why? Why wouldn't it start at your other sphincter on your mouth?
Well,
because those are basically the only two places on the human body that you have those kinds of muscles, those kinds of sphincters,
and membranes, right? Yeah,
right. Your mouth lips and your butt lips. Right? That's what we're calling them.
He said butt lips.
Yes, butts have lips.
You know, if you know, you know. Like that.
If you know, you know. They pucker.
Oh, wow.
I mean, every living thing shits, right? I mean,
yeah,
if you're going to be taking stuff in, you have to be excreting something.
Yeah.
It's like one of, that whole digestive tract is one of the oldest parts, like the most, evolutionarily speaking, it's one of the oldest things we have. Why is this ass-eating virus just now coming out? Jefe, please answer me that. I want to know.
Given your history, Jefe.
Yeah, given your history. Did we lose Jefe?
He left. He just dozed out.
He was like, I'm out. You guys talk about eating butts.
He Irish goodbye.
He can't handle the butt. You can't handle the butt. Oh boy.
What the fuck happened? He seriously just left.
Yeah.
I wonder if he dropped. I wonder if that's what happened. All right.
Well, you know what it was. He didn't have a farm report.
Oh, he was embarrassed.
He didn't want to face the music, so he's out.
He didn't want to face Tabby.
Well, I'll tell you, of all the diseases that you could get, this one's, kind of terrifying.
This one's pretty
Especially
awful.
if you're Japanese, right? Look, they show another picture of a mouth. What is going on?
I don't know. And it's strep, right? I mean, this is strep. It's not.
Yeah, it's a streptococcus.
It's just strep, but they're getting it in their buttholes, and that's what's concerning. I really don't know how you fix that, but okay.
Well, you stop eating ass. That's starters. That would be rule number 1 if you live in Japan. No more eating ass. At least until we get this thing under control, right? Until there's a vaccine, because they're working on a vaccine. And it's perfectly safe.
God,
you'll only need seven jabs of it, but then you're good.
I want this to be a pandemic. It's to be wiped out by the ass eating.
Oh my God. What do you call that? Like,
I can't. I'm sorry.
Like the anus.
So
flu?
mature. It's got a really great. It's got a great
COVID-69. Oh shit, that's good.
COVID. Poopid. Thank you, Al.
Poopid. Well done.
Oh wow.
All right. Well, we just went off the rails a little bit. It's time to get back to some serious stuff.
That's right. Let's do it.
Because we're so serious.
Do you want to go to Apple or do you want to go to the ATF hiring Gen Z?
No, let's go to Apple because I feel like that's worth discussing, and then we can maybe start the rapid fire session.
All right. Justice Department sues Apple, alleging it illegally monopolized the smartphone market. Now, This is interesting. I think the timing of it's really fascinating. If you were trying to really fuck up the market, you go after one of the big heavies.
Yeah.
Apple's one of them to go after.
Yeah. Because every hedge fund, every fucking retirement fund, everybody owns some kind of Apple at this point.
Yep,
Everybody.
it's in everything. It's in everything.
Yep.
It's BlackRock's got it. Vanguard's got it. State Street's got it. If you've got a 401k, you got it. Period. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, yes, I think iPhone has positioned themselves as a device that is higher end. Do I think it's still higher end? No. I think it's getting sloppy. I think the tech is getting worse, and I don't think it has the same standards as what it used to. So I think, yes,
Agreed.
I think Tim Cook is running into the ground. Now, this, I think it's way, way, way bigger than just what they're trying to say. I think they're coming out with an antitrust lawsuit to try and break them up because the government wants the back door. They've got it from Google. They want it from Apple.
Exactly. I was just going to say, Apple has been the thorn in their side, so to speak, because they won't give up. You know, if you get arrested and you have an Android phone, the police can, or the courts can subpoena the password to your phone, the unlock code to your phone, and they can get everything that's in it. If you have an iPhone, Apple has staunchly opposed that. They said, we will not give it out under any circumstances. So yes, I think you're onto something, McShane. I think the government is finally like, you know, we need access to all of our citizens' private data. A lot of that's locked on their phones.
Yep.
So fuck Apple. Some of the arguments in this case, for instance, one of the details that I found today that I was unaware of is that Apple is claiming, I'm sorry, not Apple, the government is claiming that when you're on an Apple text and you get a text from a phone that isn't an Apple phone, it shows up as a green bubble. The government is arguing that the percentage of Google and Android users is higher in the African American community. Therefore, by having a green bubble on an Apple phone, that's racist.
Yes.
That's a legit argument that the government is making right now as we speak. I know some of you are probably laughing. Some of you are probably trying to understand how they could make that argument. You're going through the 4 phases of denial. I was there too. What the fuck? But that's the argument they're making. So that's one of the ways that they're monopolizing. Yeah, go ahead.
Having a green bubble in text messages, calling it a mark or social stigma, inclusion and blame as part of its landmark antitrust case against the iPhone maker. Green bubble status has long been a source of mockery online, with some women even jokingly declaring that they find men who own Androids less attractive. Well,
I mean, they're not wrong. Sorry.
I've got an iPhone. I don't know what your guys' problem is.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. This might be one of the worst woke arguments that there are, and this is a woke argument. It is. If anybody's shaming you because of your phone, why would you want to be around that person? Okay, yes, the iPhone costs a $1,000. It does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to get the super duper one, right? Getting an Android, all your Android phones are going to be cheaper. Totally get it. But you're paying for the tech. You're paying for how it's made. I don't know anybody who has, I don't know how anybody who has an Android that is truly happy with their Android. There's always some animosity there. They act like little bitches. I've got a friend who acts like a little bitch because he's got an Android and everybody else has iPhones, and we had a chat going, and he used to throw a fit because he didn't know what was going on at the time. To me, grow up. But yeah, apparently this is a thing.
I mean, the only thing that I've ever, when someone pops over I'm starting a new chat with somebody or whatever, and they pop over as a green bubble on my iPhone. The only thing I say to myself is, okay, I can't send them certain, like I can't send them the Apple exclusive stuff, like the Memojis,
right,
and the the little creatures I can make talk or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that I use those very much anyway, but I just say to myself, okay, I can't use those. I can only use standard emojis and text. That's enough. I can carry on a conversation with that person still. I don't look down on them. I just go, okay, it's a different system. That's all. Like
it doesn't matter.
Do we all now need to change our Macs and not use Macs anymore and all go to, I mean, how does Microsoft not have a monopoly then? Remember, they went through their whole trial. They own way more of the computer market than Apple owns of the phone market.
Absolutely.
Way more.
But isn't this a case where the government is being asked to intervene? Might be, hey, if you do us a solid, we'll make sure that all the information keeps flowing to you nice and pretty. Do us a solid and make sure that, go ahead and press some charges against Apple. Bring them back down to earth.
Yeah.
You're not going to make your tech better. You're not going to, you want to go ahead and do an antitrust suit. Okay, great. The whole idea is that company has a monopoly on something. Everybody else is pretty much admitting then that we won't try and compete with you. Dumb yourself down. Yeah. Stop performing at the level that you are. Stop making the money that you're making.
Yep.
I find it bizarre. And it's not an Apple Homer thing. I don't care what phone you're using. It's just a stupid argument. And I think there's more going on behind it, especially after Apple had one of the worst quarters that they've had in a long time. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole play here is to get Tim Cook out of the way and get somebody else in there who's willing to give them, again, the back door into getting customer information and customer messages.
I think you have, to your point, I think you've got, killing 6 or 7 birds with one stone here. I think they want the back door. I think they want to bring Apple down a notch. I definitely think they want Tim Cook out, and not just for the backdoor option, but also just because, he is, say what you want about him, but he's at least stood his ground as we are a private company and the government has no play in what we do. So they don't like that. They want that out. And I think even if you really look inside yourself, even Android users can see that this is a really dangerous road to go down. That if the government wins this case, it's not good for anybody. Android or iPhone user, doesn't matter. Nobody wins in this. We all fucking lose. All of our shit is now free and out there and accessible to any old, court that decides they need access to the information on your phone. Scary shit. Really scary shit.
You want to discuss Don Lemon crashing and burning?
Yeah, let's do that quickly, because that doesn't need much of our energy, but it is really fucking funny.
So we all know Don Lemon went on, or he had Elon on his first episode of his show, and it didn't go well. In fact, Elon pretty much kicked him in the junk. Don Lemon stated that Elon Musk is the most delicate snowflake he's ever interviewed, remarking, "I've interviewed many world leaders from presidents to convicts, and none has been more sensitive or touchy than Elon Musk."
Which is so absurd. It's beyond absurd. And it's because you were trying to bait him down roads of anti-wokeism. You were trying to get Elon to say that he's anti-woke, and he wasn't going to take your bait. He was basically calling bullshit on your questions. That doesn't make him a snowflake. Yeah. That just says, hey, you're a fucking moron. I'm not going to talk to you like this.
He was trying to CNN him. When was the last time you saw Elon on a? And again, we're not an Elon show, but he had a savage week. So that's one of the things that we have to bring up along with this, because kicking Don Lemon in the junk was part of it. Here's Lemon right now.
And people have been asking me what I meant by when I said he did not like answering questions or being held to account from people like me. And so some people took it to mean a racial thing. I meant someone who has a different worldview. But since people raised it and you said what you said, do you think that he was uncomfortable? I didn't want to go there. Do you think he was uncomfortable sitting in front of a gay black guy?
Probably more gay than black, I would think. I hate to say that, but I don't know. I mean,
having to answer questions from...
I don't think he likes control beyond himself. And so it doesn't matter who's exerting it. I don't think he much likes Joe Biden either.
So that's Kara Swisher, she's a lesbian. She actually has a show that we crush, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
It's on Good Pods, so take it for what it's worth, but we still kick their show's ass.
We kill her show every week. And even she was like, well, I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, the point is, this is all speculation. You want to put racial and sexual innuendos on this or motivations, most likely, because we all know Elon is definitely on the spectrum. Most likely, he was logically thinking about your illogical questions and saying, I don't know how to answer that, you piece of shit. That's what he was thinking in his head.
He was being dismissive.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know where he's freaking coming from.
Yeah. I don't even know what you mean by that. So why would I answer it?
All right. Just to conclude on Don Lemon. Well, the reasons why he was canned from being on X. This was what he was asking for. Okay. He wanted control on every creator that was coming to the platform. He wanted a voice in what type of news information would be on the platform. One of his demands was to be the first podcast in space. He wanted him to give him a Cybertruck, $10 million annual in marketing commitment from X, and a $5 million upfront payment.
Why in the mother-loving universe would he think he's worth all that?
He's Don fucking Lemon. The biggest hack you've ever seen. You know what his show did the next episode?
Oh, didn't he have like 27,000 views or something?
He went from over 2.2 million views for the Elon segment to 70 the next week, and it's dropped off from there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a hack. He's a has-been. He's a nobody. And oh, by the way, Don, if you're out there and you want to make a comment, it's not because you're black and it's not because you're gay. It's because you suck. Period.
You're fucking awful. Congratulations.
You're a fucking hack. That's the only reason. That's all we care about. Either you're good at what you do and we'll listen to you, or you suck and we're not going to. Because here's the magic of podcasting. No one has to know the color of your skin or your sexual orientation or anything else. They just have to know and like what you have to say. We don't like what you have to say, so fuck off.
Our chat's going crazy, and I can't even go where they're going right now. This is so amazing. You guys need to join and be in chat. We have hit a new level of I can't repeat this on the podcast. This is fantastic.
Amazing. Thank you all.
Hey, let's talk about the First Amendment. Can we do that?
Oh, sure.
All right. Here's Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Hold on. Before you start this clip.
Okay. You want to
remember just remember who got this person as a Supreme Court judge. Okay. And listen to her words. Listen very carefully. Because she's saying all the quiet stuff out loud. And nobody's putting a muzzle on her. They're just letting her go.
They're just letting her go.
Justice Jackson?
So my biggest concern is that your view has the First Amendment hamstringing the government in significant ways in the most important time periods. What would you have the government do? I've heard you say a couple times that the government can post its own speech, but in my hypothetical, kids, this is not safe, don't do it, is not going to get it done. And so I guess some might say that the government actually has a duty to take steps to protect the citizens of this country, and you seem to be suggesting that that duty cannot manifest itself in the government encouraging or even pressuring platforms to take down harmful information. So can you help me? Because I'm really worried about that. because you've got the First Amendment operating in an environment of threatening circumstances from the government's perspective, and you're saying that the government can't interact with the source of those problems.
And Your Honor, I understand that instinct, and I guess what I tell you is
So this was Supreme Court comments on on social media content moderation this week.
You know what's the hard part about commenting on that? First of all, I'm gonna say that differently. I know that our listeners are smart enough to be offended.
Absolutely.
By what she's saying, by what she's implying.
Yep.
But I'm so offended, I don't even know how to respond to that, because the implication, this is a Supreme Court justice talking about the fact that it is the government's duty to basically censor what content we get, what speech we hear, because we're not smart enough. This goes back to the basis of why I have a problem with the Democratic platform, the Dems, the liberal bullshit, is because at the end of the day, they pat you on the head and they say, oh, it's okay. You're too stupid to do it yourself. We'll take care of you. We'll give you money. We'll give you housing. We'll give you food stamps. We'll give you blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking social safety nets. I'm talking, they want to just take care of all of us and control what we see, what we hear, what we think, all of it. And she's saying it out loud.
Yep.
If any of you had any doubts, if you were on the fence at all, this should put all of that to bed. She is absolutely saying you should not get to hear what we don't think you should get to hear. And I would put this show in that category. Like, she probably would want to ban us.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
One of my favorite quotes from the week was when Beard came up after we posted that the government by design is supposed to be hamstringed by the people. They serve us. That is supposed to be how it works. And the fact that
That's the fucking point.
This individual is comfortable thinking anything but that, she should be removed from the court.
It's concerning because when you have, because Supreme Court justices, they're all just people, right? I worked with and know, I'm very close with a federal judge who was appointed. And listen, she went to law school. She was a judge in a family court for a number of years. I'm not saying she doesn't know law, but it was because of her political affiliation that she was nominated to be a federal circuit court judge. She's not special, guys. She's not Superwoman. She's not anything more than you or me. She bleeds red. She's pretty smart, but not like the smartest. She's no Elon, I'll tell you that. And that's the same with Letitia here. Is that her name, Letitia? Am I getting that wrong? I think that's her name.
Kinjit, something like that.
Okay, whatever. She was appointed because of her political affiliation, not because she was the smartest person and the most, schooled in law. Listen, the people who are most schooled in law are teaching it in universities, not practicing law or becoming Supreme Court justices. I mean, look at the people that are on there. They're all, at one time or another, they've all said something pretty moronic. But this one crosses the line of saying, look, our Constitution was written, these amendments were made, and now you want to just take all that away because you feel like we're not smart enough to know what we can and can't consume on social media or what speech we can hear. I mean, what did Two Live Crew go down for? Right? I mean, their whole thing was, we can say whatever the fuck we want to say. Whoever wants to buy our album can buy our album. That should be the basis of free speech right there. I can say whatever I want to say. And she wants to take that away because she doesn't feel you're bright enough to handle it. It's wild. It's wild. How did we get here? What are we doing?
I'm so torn because on the one hand, I want to go to the other remarkable law decision where illegal aliens, illegal immigrants have the right to use guns now.
Yep. They have Second Amendment rights.
Or do we go to Washington adopting new lawyer licensing paths as other states mull bar exam bypasses? So you don't even have to take the bar. You can do some classes.
Right.
You get a profile that says, hey, I've done court stuff. I want to be a lawyer.
Right.
I don't know which one to go to because all three of these things, from this, the free speech of Brown shitting on it, to these other two articles, just makes me like, okay. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck everything.
Right. It's getting to the very core of who we are as Americans. This is the very core of what rights we have. You said earlier in the week, I thought it was very poignant. I'm going to bring it up. With illegal aliens being able to, it sounds like they're going to be able to vote. It sounds like they're going to be able to carry weapons. So what does it mean to be a citizen anymore? Like, you get all of the benefits, but none of the responsibilities.
No,
because the responsibilities as a citizen is, I have to pay my taxes.
Yep.
I have to show up to court if I get, pulled over or subpoenaed or sued. I have to participate in my local government.
I can go to jail.
And I can go to jail. And these people that are not members of they're not citizens of our country. They are members of our community, but they're not citizens. They're coming in and getting all the benefits with none of the shit. And I know this is like oversimplifying the argument, but this is a black or white thing. Either we honor all of the Constitution, or it needs to go up in flames. That's really where we're at.
That was an Obama-appointed federal judge, Sharon Johnson Coleman. She was the one that ruled that illegal immigrants have right to carry guns. So do the Democrats want to ban guns or not? Because this isn't how you do it. But it is a great way to go ahead and say, well, look, they're citizens. They can carry guns. It's also an easy way to go, well, now they've got a different militia. Maybe they can go and call them the immigrant militia now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
Well, me too. We talked about that too, is like, if the conditions of your citizenship are that you enlist in this, conscription army, and you're given an immoral order, like, hey, clear that house, regardless of who owns it, regardless of who's lived there for 20 years, just clear it, kids, families, whatever. You're going to do it. You're going to act on an immoral order, on an immoral command. Whereas, soldiers who have grown up as Americans, they realize, hey, there's a time and a place. When I was in the military,
they've taken an oath. They've taken a fucking oath.
Right. There's an oath. There's a time when, if you're given an immoral order, it is your duty to stand up to that immoral order. And
you're supposed to protect
it.
the Constitution and the people behind it.
That's right. And now we have people that don't have that allegiance, aren't going to take that oath. Wow.
It's a very slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
how do we go from ass-eating virus to this?
I don't know. But the last thing I'll say about it is, all of us as a community, any of you out there listening, any of you in the chat tonight, any of you listening to this Monday morning, we all need to be vocal. It's not time to sit down and just take this anymore. We all have to be speaking up. We all have to be active. They need to know that all of us do not agree with this fucking idiot or that fucking idiot. That we need to have a discourse in this country again. It needs to happen.
Where do you want to go now?
Quickly, let's talk about the solar flare, because I had a few people hit me up on Twitter I woke up this morning to, what my thoughts were on the X-class flare that went off yesterday, kind of later last night, our time. At first, initially, well, okay, so first of all, set it up. A few days ago, I said there's a really complex, it was really weird because usually sunspots, when they pop up, even if it's a complex, grouping, it's like one. Well, this had a double grouping. There was one to the north, one to the south, and they were kind of playing off each other. And like as one got more complex, the other one got more complex, and they were feeding off each other. So I said, this could be something to watch. Well, we did have an X-class flare. It went off directly Earth-facing. I was kind of hoping it was not going to be directly at us, but it looks like it is. And again, I'm not going to bore anybody here, but it's more like a shotgun blast. It's not a sniper rifle. It's not this, stream of energy that we just can't take in one spot of the world. It's more like a shotgun, a lot of protons, a lot of electrons coming at us, a lot of extra energy is going to enter the atmosphere. And I actually, if we want to play Ben's video, I think he sums it up really well. It's only a couple minutes long. If you're not following Ben Davidson on Twitter or his YouTube channel, please start doing that. He's the best at this. He's been doing it a long time. He knows his shit. And also he's really well spoken. So let's listen to Ben. He sums it up pretty nicely. I think we're going to be okay, but it could potentially be a little concerning tomorrow night into Monday. So let's see what Ben has to say.
Analysis on the coronal mass ejection heading for Earth from this morning's long-duration X-class solar flare. As we saw this morning, there was a clear halo CME produced from the event. This indicates that the CME is heading for Earth and will impact. We'll go over the likely impact times and geomagnetic storm conditions. We said this morning we would update when the Enlil spiral is updated, and now we not only have NASA and NOAA's, but a new one as well. NASA shows the CME impact directly hitting the Earth as expected, and so does NOAA's. They are both showing impact early UTC time on the 25th, Monday, so the range would be from Sunday night through Monday. The sooner it hits, the stronger it will be. We also have a look at the Zeus model. This one is a separate program, and where it shows that same Earth impact in the same time frame, it bolsters confidence in the forecast. That one, by the way, is only found on the ISWA web app. Now, NOAA is forecasting KP6, a level 2 geomagnetic storm, but I wanted to give a broader probabilities forecast, so this impact, which is due Sunday night or sometime on Monday, will almost certainly produce geomagnetic unrest or low-level storm activity. There's almost a 50-50 chance of the KP 7 and 8 range, which would be a strong to severe storm condition, with a marginal chance for a major solar storm, KP 9. It has been 20 years since the last one. We'll be here watching closely to see how it all plays out, but it's also worth noting two things here. The solar radiation storm is now the strongest of the solar cycle. I will extend what we saw in the morning show where the X-flare lit up the subsolar point, and then the polar region began taking those protons. The proton storm is now at a point where it is causing a full polar cap absorption event, and this significant event, almost at level 3, combined with the high level of continued solar flaring, look how many more M-class flares we've had, is a recipe for major heat waves. While there is no way to tell at this time where on Earth those will be, in the next 3 to 10 days, we are almost certain to have a record-breaking heat wave event somewhere. I'll be monitoring the sun all evening here for more activity, and I'll see you in the morning for the daily show. Be safe, everyone.
I like his stuff. I really do. I don't understand it all. I really don't. But I really do. I really do like that stuff.
I've dedicated myself. I really want to understand it all, and I'm still probably, I get 90% of what he's saying. There's still 10%. I'm like, what the fuck? What is he talking about? But he's been doing this a long time, so I mean that he should be ahead of me. But basically we have a slight chance, which is what I kind of put out on Twitter. We have a slight chance of a KP 8 or 9, which would be significant. I mean, that would be, they might ground aircraft. We would have definite internet disruption. But, it all depends on the timing. It depends on which side is facing the sun when that wave hits us. If you think about it like the tide coming in, the tide's coming in gently, gently, and then all of a sudden a rogue wave just comes out of nowhere and just inundates the entire beach. That's kind of what we're looking at here. We're going to get a lot more energy than we're used to, and that can mean for sure we're going to have some heat waves, probably in the southern hemisphere, but who knows where. And it's just and storms. If there was a storm that was going to come into your area, it might intensify because of the extra energy. All these things, all these little micro changes, like the butterfly effect, they have, big changes over a long period of time and over, a big area. So lots of things could happen in the next couple days. I don't think we're going to see anything too serious from this. However, I am hoping because I love this shit so much. I really want there to be like some significant CME that just comes in and wipes out the internet for like 3 days, and everyone goes, "Oh, hey, we better pay attention to the sun."
maybe we should care.
Yeah, maybe it's not how much I drive my car every day. Maybe it's that giant ball of burning gas out there that's controlling our climate. But anyway, so this heat wave will come, and of course, this is the other thing to look for. When this heat wave comes, look for all the climate idiots to say, "This is the hottest March ever." You're going to see those articles. They're going to come out. This is the hottest week Brazil has ever seen. Okay, that's great. But we know why. We know
but
because
Chile is on fire.
Yeah, it's funny. When you turn the iron on, that's like record heat for that pair of pants that you're ironing right there. That's record heat because you got the iron on it. But as soon as you unplug the iron, there's like that record heat goes away. It's weird. It's a weird thing. Anyway. Fun stuff to talk about, and I really appreciate that people were hitting me up on Twitter to get my opinion on things. I kind of woke up a little blurry-eyed, and I was like, it doesn't look like it. But as the day went on and we got more data, we're definitely going to take a shot from this thing. I don't think it's going to be here's the other piece of it that you kind of brought up, McShane.
Yeah.
There is well-documented evidence that people's moods are enhanced by solar activity. So if you have a mental disorder, or if you're prone to aggressive behavior, that's
you feel
only
like you really
going
want to start a war.
Right. Thank you. That's where I was going with this. Like, if you really want to start some shit, you're really going to want to do it like times 10 now, because we have all this extra energy coming in. So this stuff affects, the animals. It affects, migration patterns. It affects our behavior. It affects our hearts, our brains, our lungs, all of it. So if you're feeling a little unbalanced this week, it's not you. Well, it might be a little bit you. But the sun is really going to be wreaking havoc on us for the next probably 48 to 72 hours. So just keep your words in check. Don't say something you don't mean, because it's going to be harder to do that in the next few days.
Before we go, I know we're up against it, but I want to throw this out there. Just because we've been seeing more and more of this lately, there's going to be a solar eclipse on the 8th.
Yes.
Now we've got, and I think we've mentioned this a couple weeks ago, maybe, when we were talking about this little town in Texas or Oklahoma that's totally sold out of hotels and motels.
Right.
Well, now we've got cell phone disruptions that are expected. We're expecting the internet to go down. There's talk about flight delays.
And canceled flights.
Yes, air travel disruptions. April 8th. Nobody else is talking about this across the rest of the world. Granted, the solar eclipse is going to be seen here in the States much more than any place else.
We're getting a full eclipse here.
We're getting a full eclipse. But now this is turning into something it's a little bit more. It has to be a distraction for something or a setup for something.
Okay,
I'm convinced.
I agree with you. I went out and looked. I went and researched because I wanted to know how many solar eclipses we've had.
Right.
that have crossed here in the United States, that have affected the United States, because because of the paths of the moon and sun and the earth, sometimes there's solar eclipses that don't ever hit the U.S. They only hit other countries, or sometimes nowhere,
right,
middle of the ocean. So I looked it up. From 1901 to 2000, there were 228 solar eclipses, 78 of which were partial. And this is ones that eclipsed the U.S. only. So 228, 78 were partial, 78 were annular, which means they were, partial to like 3/4. 71 were total, and then 6 were kind of hybrids of those. So we've had air travel, airlines since what, the 50s? Let's just say comfortably the 50s.
Yep.
So that's half of the last century. So let's say 114 total eclipses during that time that we've had air flight. And 0 flights have been canceled because of it. 0.
Yep.
Why are they saying that now? Why are they saying that we are going to have to cancel flights, that the internet's going to go down, that you can't use phones? Stock up on food and water. That's the other thing, is that a lot of these places, and they're saying it's because, well, there's going to be so many people in town. I mean, some school districts are canceling school that day.
Yeah, and there's counties that have already declared in a state of emergency.
Emergency, right. What is going on? It's just an eclipse. I mean, I feel like I need to sacrifice a virgin or something. Or maybe a red heifer. I don't know.
You did not just go red heifer.
Because we haven't gone a red heifer yet. I mean,
I kept red heifer off the dock on purpose too. But that's fucked up.
Yeah.
The whole red heifer. Okay, guys, if you're I know you're listening, go look up sacrificing red heifer. You know what? I'll post it to the insider chat. You guys can look at it and enjoy yourselves on that. It's sacrificing.
Someone asked earlier if we were going to call Jefe a red Jefe. And I think we should, at least for like this apocalypse time. Like, I think he should just be red Jefe from here on out, just for a while. I don't know. I'm just Jefe, chime in. Let us know after you listen to this episode. Do you want to be the red heifer? Jefe. The red heifer? I don't know. Yeah.
Once again, I can't. This has been a great night for chat. I can't say anything that's happening in chat.
No, we can't go there. Thank you all for going there.
You guys are
we're all thinking it.
Amazing. God damn it. Oh, jeez.
Oh shit. This is good. Yeah, please. If you are not, and I'm not saying sign up for the Patreon so that we can get the money. I'm saying sign up for the Patreon because
you're going to have fun.
Because you're going to have fun. We want you all to be a part of this because it's absolutely off the chain tonight. Well done, everyone.
The Jefe, the red Jefe farm report. That's what we need.
Jesus Christ. So the stuff around the eclipse is just bizarre. We've had I even looked up how many eclipses we've had since 1975 when I was born.
Yeah.
And we've been through like 20 some. I think it was 23. It was always a novelty. Like, it was something that you like, hey, don't stare at the sun, but if you want to look at it, here's some ways to do it safely. And it was a fun thing. It was all about science, like debunking the whole we have to sacrifice a virgin or we're not going to have rain for 20 years. That whole thing, it was like debunked because it wasn't weird. And now they're making it weird again.
Now we're making it weird. Yep.
I don't know why.
It was a cool space happening.
Yeah.
And now we've got to make it weird. It honestly, and to Tabby's point earlier, nothing's going to happen. What it probably is it's a money grab, right? Because when you declare a state of emergency, you get to draw new funds. Yep. You can say, well, if there's any kind of disruptions during that day, well, we can just blame it on the eclipse. If the internet takes a shit, well, we can go ahead and blame that on the eclipse too. And there could also be there could be a flag event, right?
Yeah.
We can't keep that off the table. Nope. That's always on the table.
Roll that out. Yep.
And there's always Project Bluebeam that's out there. Sorry. That's my parting shot for the night.
I love it. We should just end the show right there. Look up Project Bluebeam.
Let's do. Let's go to final thoughts. Can we do that? Let's go to final thoughts.
Yep.
All right.
Let's do it.
Whiskey Hill's final thoughts.
All right, Fitz, what's your final thoughts?
First of all, this triple hazy was phenomenal.
Good.
Fucking great. Well done. Once again, well done. Great notion. I'm gonna keep buying your beers because you keep rocking it. My second thought here is, and I feel like we're beating a dead horse a little bit, but I want to say it one more time, and I'm gonna say it in a little bit different way. The narratives here. When you see the narratives of like the terrorist stuff in Russia, the Apple stuff here, the solar eclipse, you see these narratives being pushed, and you can see it from a mile away at this point. Like once you see it, you can't unsee it. But once you see those, please let that be a trigger. And I know it is for most of you out there, but please let that be a trigger for you to go out and say, oh, I see what they're telling me. I'm going to go find out some other stuff about it. Not that you're going to find out the truth, because really we don't know what the truth is anymore. We really don't. You know, when Trump came out and said fake news, I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Now I get it. I mean, everything's basically to some degree fake news. So go out there and find the closest thing to the truth, the most facts you can about a thing, and then let that guide your actions. Don't be led by the nose by legacy media or your web browser, because we all know we're being influenced by that and being led a certain direction there. The algorithms of TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, just do your own research and find out what it means for you in your community and you and your family and your friends, and then move on with your day. So that's my parting thought. What about you?
Keep finding happiness. Because all of the shit that we talked about, we can laugh about every single thing that we've talked about tonight. And some of it's ridiculous, and some of it fucking hurts. Some of it's like wow, how did we get here type stuff. But as soon as you start being able to look at it as though, wow, I can read the Matrix, I get what's going on, you're going to be able to start to laugh at it a little bit. And it gets a little bit easier to take and a little bit easier to say what you feel and say what you think is important and speak your mind a little bit. But you're going to find a different kind of happiness when you get to that point. So keep grinding. You will get there. And, yeah, that's what I got.
Love it.
What beer are you taking to bed?
Oh shit. Definitely the Juice Senior. The triple hazy was, really, really good. On top of it, I'm not trying to brag or anything. I just want to share this because it's one of those wins in life that you got to kind of share. This is a 10.6. It is a the tall can, so it's a big one. And I got this for $2.19.
Oh, that's a bargain.
Right?
That's a bargain. I can't get Great Notions out here for under $4 or $5. That's nice.
It was a great beer for $2.19. Come on. So that's my win for the night. Definitely. That first beer was a trip down. It was a trip I'd rather not take again. I'm glad I took it, but I won't ever do it again.
Jay said you should have taken that one to bed and hate fucked it.
I did see that earlier in the comments, and I might still do that later. We'll see.
But you're not going to tell anybody about it.
Well, hell no. No, I'm definitely not going to film it. Anyway, this triple hazy, again, really kind of a unicorn. Hard to do. Triple hazies are not easy. Really, really good beer. Fruity, a little sour, a little hoppy, but just everything in balance. So great beer. How about you? What are you taking to bed?
I am going to take the first one. I'm going to take the Home Sour Home. I like both sours. Both of them are good. But I like the peach flavor. It was just, the vanilla was nice. Just a really nice sour. And yeah, and it did make my throat clench up. So it would have been really enjoyable if somebody was, doing stuff to it. So I wouldn't do it before. Never mind. Let's just push past that.
Okay.
If you want to follow us, it is at whiskey_hell on X. whiskeyhellpod.com is the website. You guys can always check us out there. And obviously, if you're already listening to us, you can download us anywhere your little heart's desired. I am Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz.
Think critically.
Act accordingly.
We'll talk to you soon.